Welcome to the meeting place of the supermarket, a place where costs and shrinkage are cut to the bone.
It's really cool. I really like shopping here because it's clean and it feels, right.
Well, if you didn't have a food safety program, I wouldn't be shopping here.
You read all that stuff about diseases and that's,
It's got to be fresh.
Oh, yeah.
A butchery today is a far cry from the days of the old butcher's block and sawdust on the floor to mop up the spills. Whilst the raw product is essentially the same, the presentation of meat has changed dramatically over the years. The customers' buying habits have also changed. Today, they're very conscious about a quality product. We have a food safety program in place called the 5 Steps to Food Safety, and you are about to become part of it. Here is the 5 Steps promise: to sell only clean, safe and hygienic food, to ensure that product is received from warranted suppliers only, to ensure that all staff understand and implement the appropriate codes of practice, to monitor and record the effectiveness of the system, and to take all reasonable steps to ensure that the 5 Steps to Food Safety program is implemented at all times. During this video, we'll be introducing you to the 5-step system. We'll show you how the system works, and we'll explore some of the areas that you'll be working with in depth. Cleaning, washing up and basic housekeeping are all covered by the system. You'll be shown how to use the specialist cleaning products, and you can always refresh your memory by following these charts and the 5 steps. Unlike some of the other departments, the raw product that you will deal with will more than likely be cooked prior to being eaten. So what's the problem, you might ask? We must assume that raw meat is loaded with bacteria. These bacteria occur naturally, but in the wrong place and with time to multiply, these bacteria can cause serious illness and, in extreme cases, be fatal. Food can often be put at risk. Foreign objects can fall into containers or into food if they're stored badly. Chemical contamination can occur from cleaning products, poisons, and items that should not be in the area. However, the greatest risk comes from microorganisms, or bugs. These are not visible to the naked eye, but allow them to get onto food, and the consequences can be dire. Bugs are found on raw foods, contaminated surfaces, also on our bodies, hair, cuts, pimples, and in our stomachs. Some of these bugs can cause food poisoning, and others will cause food spoilage. Lost customers means lost profits, and as food handlers, it's our responsibility to produce safe food. To grow, bacteria need time, temperature, food, and moisture. That's why cleaning, stock rotation, and refrigeration are so important. It's a frightening fact that these bugs can double their numbers every 20 minutes, given the right conditions. If meat is left out for too long, it goes off. This is caused by the multiplication of bacteria to the extent where they have started to affect the taste of the food. We call this food spoilage. This multiplication of bacteria can be slowed down or even prevented by cleaning, temperature control, and safe food preparation. You'll hear from time to time the expression, clean food is safe food.
Personally, I'm not into it. I don't eat meat. But if I was going to buy it for the flat or whatever, I'd want it to be clean, I want to know I wasn't going to catch anything off it.
The more meat is handled, the more chance it has of becoming contaminated. And the longer it's out of refrigeration, the more opportunity that bacteria have to grow. Here's an example that illustrates the point. To prevent knife cuts during the meat preparation, butchers wear a mesh glove. Throughout the day, the mesh becomes clogged with meat and fat. Now remember the 4 conditions for ideal bacterial growth: time, temperature, food, and moisture. Well, this glove has them all, and by the end of the day we can assume that without cleaning, this glove will be contaminating everything it touches. A good clean in detergent and hot water, followed by a sanitizer, will quickly solve this particular problem. You'll find posters like this in all areas of your department. These are the codes of practice or rules for safe food handling. and following them is your responsibility. Soon these tasks will become second nature, and you'll be living and breathing food safety.
All laid out ready for inspection, just like it was in the barracks. Great men, great times.
The butchery you'll be working in can quite easily be divided into preparation and display. On its journey through your department, the meat will pass through a number of stages that can and will affect its safety. It's not the intention of this program to go through every stage of production, but to give you an insight into the care needed to ensure that the final product is safe and wholesome. Cleaning will play a major part in your daily routine, so we've produced a separate video that looks at this issue in depth. Housekeeping, however, is almost as important, and if you deal with this issue properly, it'll save you and your colleagues many hours of time and frustration. Here are the 5 steps for housekeeping. 1. Keep the floor free of rubbish and clean as you go. 2. Anything that can be put away should be. 3. Any surfaces and machinery not in use should be cleaned and sanitized. 4. When the rubbish bins are full, remove them and replace with empty bins. 5. Bowls, trays and utensils should be stored upside down or in such a way that they'll be kept clean whilst in storage. We'll now look at temperature control. We mentioned earlier in the program that we need to keep meat cool to prevent the growth of bacteria. So let's look at how that works in practice. From delivery to sale, there are 5 steps relating to temperature that keep the cold chain in place. To ensure good control, temperatures are monitored to ensure that good standards are being met. Even in the preparation area, the temperature needs to be cool, and once meat has been prepared or packed, it needs to go straight into the display case or back into the chiller. But wait, there's more. To keep the cold chain in place, we need to look at the way we put meat into the case. So let's look at the 5 steps instructions for the display case. 1. Load the case as quickly as possible. Product temperature must be below 4 degrees C. 2. Keep product below the load line. 3. Check that the product is within best before dates and that the labels are accurate. 4. Stock rotation. FIFO. First in, first out. 5. Keep the case clean. Clean as you go. Similarly, if there is a service case, there are 5 steps to follow. So let's also look quickly at these. 1. Keep raw and cooked food separate. Use separate utensils for each. 2. Handle the product either with a bag inside out or tongs that have been stored in the case. If you're loading the case, use disposable gloves. 3. Check product temperature twice daily. 4. Rotate product in the case and check the overall cleanliness. Again, FIFO, first in, first out. 5. Ensure that garnishes are thoroughly clean and sanitized. Avoid foods coming into direct contact with garnishes or decoration. Let's now look quickly at cross-contamination. Your customer needs to know that whoever prepares their meat does so in a safe, clean way. This brings up the issue of personal hygiene, and whilst no one will ever admit to not following the rules, the fact is that much of the problems associated with spoilage and food poisoning originate from poor personal hygiene. The rules are quite simple. Wash your hands before starting work and every time they become dirty. Touching your face and hair is quite normal, but when dealing with food, the rules change. Bacteria are throughout our hair and on our face in the thousands, especially if we suffer from acne. If you find yourself touching your hair, face, aprons or cleaning cloths, wash your hands immediately. There should also be a sanitizer nearby. Use it often as a secondary safeguard against bacteria. As you would expect, these points are summed up in these 2 5-steps posters. If you have a stomach upset or other illness that may put food at risk, please let your supervisor know. So let's recap. The program is called the 5 Steps to Food Safety. You're responsible to make sure that it works. Your responsibilities are to keep yourself and your area clean, handle food safely, only work with clean and sanitised equipment, ensure the temperatures are correct and follow the 5 steps. If you're aware of anything that you feel may be putting food at risk, you must report this to your supervisor. You'll find the 5 steps posters throughout your area of work. It is your responsibility to understand and follow these. If you are in any doubt, there are 3 things that you should do. 1. Check 5 steps poster. 2. Ask your supervisor. Or 3. Check the manual. And that way, we'll live up to our customers' expectations and the 5 steps policy.
Food safety? I haven't got time for that. That's not my concern. That's yours.
Say to the grandchildren, you can't beat good old-fashioned elbow grease.
I like to see discipline in any operation. Without discipline, quality can't be expected, can it?